Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I filmed this video yesterday, so if you're seeing the same shirt that I had on in the last video and thinking you've seen this one already, I'm just filming two videos in one day, so I have something to release on Sunday for you all. With that being said, let's get after it.
People, this tornado in Michigan came out of nowhere. At least 6 people have passed away, and there's widespread power outages. Just watch this footage. Just watch how crazy this gets.
Holy... That's a... What the... Dude. Oh. Holy... 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 Oh my...
Oh, the house.
Oh my... Holy... Oh my... Oh my...
Watch how big this
What's that?
gets.
Oh, I hope everyone's okay over there. Oh my... Oh my... Oh my... Oh my... Holy... We better go. Oh my... Oh my... It is lifting houses off of them. Holy... Oh my... Oh, my heart is pounding. Oh, I hope they're okay. Oh my... Holy...
This happened in the Union Lake area of Branch County, about 2 hours outside Detroit. But I mean, as you can see behind me, this Menards was shredded. And then this thing traveled 50 miles southwest. Insane. I guess the combination of a weather system that pulled moisture out of the Gulf of Mexico and a warm front that moved north created the right conditions for a tornado in a state where they're relatively rare. They don't happen. But hey, my prayers go out to everyone in Michigan affected by this. I think everyone's lucky there wasn't more people hurt, because this thing came out of nowhere.
That's absolutely insane. That thing was massive. And what's crazy is I'm sitting here watching this and tornado sirens started going off in the background. I don't know if you can hear it or not. I don't know if it's being picked up on the microphone, but it's raining outside right now. And we're supposed to be getting some very severe thunderstorms here in a few hours, and it's already gotten pretty hectic outside. But we've already had tornado sirens going off once, and we're expecting some pretty severe thunderstorms, but I haven't heard anything about any potential tornadoes. But since this took place in an area where they don't typically have tornadoes, I can't help but to assume within the next few days we'll start seeing reports of tons of atmospheric spraying, a larger amount of chemtrails being sprayed than what they typically see. And if this goes along with other repeating patterns we've seen, we'll probably find out that there's some mining company that wants to go in and mine cobalt out of the area. But seeing the size of that thing, I'm surprised that they only had 6 fatalities. That tornado was an absolute monster.
The Earth is officially spinning slower because China has built something so massive that it actually changed how fast the Earth rotates. So this is China's Three Gorges Dam, and it is so unbelievably large that scientists are saying that it literally made the Earth's day longer. This isn't by minutes, it's not by seconds, it's 0.06 microseconds. I know that obviously sounds tiny until you realize what that means. Now this dam is holding around 39 billion tons of water, and whenever you move that much weight from the ocean and lift it inland, you're redistributing that mass across the entire planet. NASA scientists themselves are explaining that whenever the reservoir is full, Earth's movement of inertia increases, which slightly slows the planet's rotation. Scientists can measure this from space, and it's happening right now. To put the scale into perspective, the dam is over 1.4 miles wide, over 600 feet tall, and generates more electricity than any other power plant on Earth. It is so unbelievably powerful that its impact shows up in planetary physics. So no, you're obviously not going to be feeling like your days are longer, but yes, humans have now officially built things so massive that it affects the planet itself.
How would they even measure a time that microscopic and determine that this is actually happening? I can't help but feel like this is just an opportunity for them to come up with some crazy new idea that they could spread out in the public to make people think, oh, clearly we must be on a globe. Did you hear what they just said about how our days are slowing down because of that dam that China built? I think this is absolute nonsense.
If you put food out in the sun, it gets dehydrated. If I put food out in the full moonlight, it gets putrefied. It putrefies really fast.
Y'all, some of the stuff that this gentleman points out about the sun and the moon is absolutely mind-blowing. Take a listen.
So it rots. It's exactly opposite. And then you can also, at nighttime, when the moon is full, you can pull out a thermometer and put it out in the light of the moon, right? And let's say, as an example, the thermometer reads 70 degrees in the full moonlight. If I put it in the shade of the moonlight, it actually gets warmer. And I pull it out, it gets colder again. So the moon's light is cold. It's not hot, so it's not reflecting the sun. It has nothing to do with the sun. That's what I mean by it's its own light. And that's a simple scientific experiment. Anybody can do it. Thermometer. I don't know if you've ever done it, but I've lived in the northern climates before, and a lot of times if I park my car under a tree, I'll come out to my windshield, to my car in the morning, and half of my windshield will be frozen and the other half won't be. It's happened many, many times, and I never really thought about it until a few years ago, and I put it all together. I'm like, wow. The reason it frosted over is because the full moon light hit that part of the windshield, and this part was underneath the tree in the shade.
So we're rotating around the Earth, the sun. The sun.
Exactly. I'm proposing to you that the sun and the moon are moving around us, just like it looks like. They are the same size, not 400 miles further, bigger, and 400 times further apart. It's very much the same. The sun, and as astrologically speaking, I think the moon has just as much of an impact as the sun on us. One is our conscious side, one's our unconscious side. One's gold, one's silver, one's hot, one's cold. From our perspective, the moon and the sun are the same size. From our perspective, but they tell us, science tries to tell us that we're going around the sun, and the moon's going around us. It looks like, and from our experience, it looks like the sun and the moon are different. They're the exact same size. They have power. We can feel their power. Like if you believe in astrology at all, like all of our ancestors have always believed it. They believe that the sun, the moon, and all the stars, each of the individual stars have their own power. They have their own potency that they're affecting us. So like if you're born on a particular day of the year, that's your sun sign, you're a Gemini. And then the exact day that you're born will know, okay, that's where the moon was in the sky. And then they can take a picture of the entire sky. They know exactly where all the planets were the moment you were born. And that's going to impact your entire life. All of our ancestors said the sun is masculine, the moon's feminine. I mean, we can just go on and on and on. And it makes sense. Like if you see the world like that, everything starts clicking. Like all these weird questions that we have from our perspective, from our society, they're all science questions. They're like, well, if we this and that, then and then you come up with all these weird questions. But if you just see the Earth as simple, that's how I see it. It's just very simple. Basically what it boils down to is the sun is not the center of our galaxy. We are. The sun, the moon, all the planets are revolving around us. And not just us as a whole, but I like to tell people, like, your mom and dad told you the world doesn't revolve around you. And I like to tell them, yeah, it does, actually. It totally revolves around you. Whatever you think and believe is the world that you're going to have. Your thoughts, your perspective, the things you expect happen. You know, we live in a magical universe.
I'm going to have to go out and actually try this tonight. Well, maybe not tonight. I don't want to get grabbed up by a tornado. But I thought this was really interesting that this is something that we should all be taught in grade school. And I also find it pretty fascinating that when you're, doing some digital art or photo manipulation on a computer, or even whenever you're buying a light bulb at the store, your color temperature is described as warm if it's closer to the color that the sun emits, and cool if it's closer to the color that the moon emits. That makes sense if they're literally giving off warmer or cooler light based on their color temperature, that they would be referred to that way. But knowing this, doesn't it suddenly make a lot more sense as to why the temperature drops so quickly when the sun goes away and the moon appears? So it's not just the absence of the sun causing your area of the earth to cool off whenever the sun goes away, but it's the presence of the moon causing it to cool off because it's literally giving off cold light. That's fascinating.
So I'm sitting here gaming, and that object up there swung and literally smacked the glass really hard. Damn reflection, but look, still moving. Let's catch it before it stops. Look, still moving. Oh, look, It made them all move now. Nice. Can you make it swing like you did before when it hit the glass? It's going out of focus. Alright, now I said swing it, not move it. Jeez Louise. Jeez Louise. Ow. Yo, this thing keeps moving. Can you slide it the other way? Keeps going out of focus. Yo! Was that a nickel, a dime, a penny? Look, there's my change. That thing went flying. How did it not hit the glass?
I think this is a pretty interesting clip for multiple reasons. For one, the guy's reaction seems very genuine. And who says geez Louise anymore? That's hilarious. But when the guy initially gets up at the beginning of the clip and walks over to that cabinet, he has to move stuff out from in front of the cabinet door to even open it. So he hasn't recently been in there. And that's a pretty interesting detail that I feel like most people would overlook if they were faking something like this. And while it's not the greatest of video quality, he is zoomed into it pretty close. I think you would be able to tell if there was a string or something attached to it that was pulling the thing. I feel like you could probably add this clip to evidence of genuine paranormal activity. What do you all think? I know it's nothing amazing or anything, but seeing stuff move in a way that it shouldn't move with no explanation for it, that's about as good a evidence as you're going to get for paranormal activity. And I thought at first maybe it was just this guy stepping on a weak floorboard or something and it was causing the cabinet to move, but that wouldn't explain that thing sliding or the coin being shot out of that coin bowl. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments.
Scientists just found nearly 800 brand new species that are living at total darkness at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean, and companies are about to bulldoze the entire ocean floor to mine it. This is insane. This team of researchers just spent 160 days at sea studying a part of the ocean that sits 4,000 meters below the surface. This is literally deeper than sunlight has ever been able to reach, and what they found just blew their own expectations apart. Nearly 800 brand new species that have never been known to science before were just officially discovered clinging to mineral rocks in complete darkness that have never been documented by science. The area that they were studying is actually known as the Clarion-Clipperton Zone, which is a stretch of the ocean floor between Mexico and Hawaii, and it's bigger than the entire US. And basically, companies right now are lining up in order to mine it. They're saying that the rocks that the creatures are living on actually contain cobalt and nickel, which is the same metals that go into electric car batteries. Obviously, you can see the problem here. They've already run a test and animal populations dropped 37%. But is that gonna stop them? No. We are literally talking about wiping out an entire ecosystem that we haven't even finished discovering yet. And whatever gets destroyed will not be coming back. So we're saving the planet by completely destroying the part that we haven't even finished discovering yet. Incredible plan.
In what way is doing this considered saving the planet? This is just more evidence that, as if we needed any more, that these elites don't actually care about saving the planet. All they care about is money, and if they can convince us that they're trying to save the planet, they can get more money.
I am fully prepared to be investigated by the Middle Eastern country Oman after what I share with you about emojis and where they came from. Now, okay, I know this sounds insane. What am I talking about getting investigated by a Middle Eastern country? Well, bear with me, okay? First, let's start here. So the 72 emojis that were released in 2015 with Unicode 8 are the main 72 emojis that were incorporated to Apple phones, Samsung phones, etc. when they came out. It's the emojis we all know, like the smiley face, this one, that one. But deep in study late one night, as I do, I found the 72 Solomonic sigils, or they call them the demotic signs, demotic sigils. There are 72 demotic sigils that I'm showing you right here, all of them. And supposedly they found this in a grimoire written by King Solomon. What's crazy is I am convinced that some of the emojis that we use are based off of these demotic signs and sigils. Out of the 72 Solomonic seals, we have ones like this right here. This emoji looks just like ball. How do you explain this? Here's another emoji, and this one looks like another Solomonic seal that would evoke a demon. I'm just gonna go through a few real quick, okay? Here's one. Here's another one, the nerd face. This one's funny. Another one. Okay, so I think that proves my point that this is not random. Like, whatever the Solomonic seals were, the emojis are based on those seals. But this is where I dug deeper. 1955, American archaeologist Wendell Phillips discovers Queen Sheba's palace in Oman. That will be very important later on, Oman, okay? Now, all of a sudden, after discovering it in 1955, this guy, Wendell Phillips, if you look into it, he became the largest individual holder of oil rights in the world after discovering Queen Sheba's palace in Oman. In the Bible, right here, it says that Queen Sheba gave King Solomon 666 talents of gold a year. Yes, that number. This is where it gets legitimately insane. I researched Oman, and it turns out the Sultanate of Oman's ministry, endowments, and religious affairs became a voting member in Unicode, okay? The people that make our emojis, in 2015, right before the emojis came out. Am I claiming that a Middle Eastern religious organization found King Solomon's original grimoire with Solomonic seals and decided to join Unicode and make the emojis on your phone based off the Solomonic sigils, so every time you use them it's like using a demonic sigil? No. But I'm just hinting at it.
Does it not seem like nearly every technological advancement has its roots in some sort of demonology or Satanism? If these are the genuine vigils from King Solomon, we shouldn't be using these for anything. When you dig into that guy and you start looking at who he was and some of the things that he was involved in, he would literally taunt demons because he was capable of basically enslaving them and getting them to do his bidding. To my understanding, King Solomon would use things that demons would actually want you or I to be messing with for like occult practices and rituals and whatnot, so that they could attach themselves to us and in some way affect our lives. But he was so wise, he was able to use those things to his own advantage and use them to control and manipulate demons. Some really fascinating stories about King Solomon. And of course, I don't know how many of them are true, but there's some very interesting stuff talked about that he was involved in. And not only that, but a lot of these stories are very unique and unique to only him. So it's not like there are a bunch of wild claims about him, but those same claims have also been made about other individuals. But if the emojis are genuinely based off of these vigils from King Solomon, we need to leave them alone.
Supposedly a man was kidnapped by dolphins, and what he's saying these dolphins made him do is wild. So a 33-year-old man was found disoriented and sunburned on the Sanibel Causeway early Monday morning, claiming he was abducted by a pod of dolphins and forced to labor on an elaborate underwater construction project. Yep. Now, Lee County Sheriff's Office deputies got a call around 5:45 a.m. from a passing motorist who spotted Ricky James Hollowell standing barefoot on the shoulder of the causeway, drenched in seawater and frantically sketching diagrams in the wet sand. A severe sunburn covered his upper body and what appeared to be minor abrasions on his hands and feet, consistent, he later claimed, with handling coral and structural materials underwater. Okay, now according to the official incident report, Hollowell recounted being approached by a group of bottlenose dolphins while swimming recreationally off Fort Myers Beach on Friday afternoon. He said they surrounded me like a security detail. He said it wasn't aggressive at first, but they nudged him deeper away from the shore. Before he knew it, he was at a site about 40 feet down in the Gulf, helping them build what looked like a full-scale aquatic habitat. What? Now, the man described the dolphins communicating via a complex series of echolocation clicks and whistles, which he said he picked up on after a few hours. Now, he identified the apparent leader of the pod as Gerald. a large male dolphin with distinctive scarring on its dorsal fin. He referred to him as the project foreman. So deputies were like, "How did you breathe underwater?" Ricky replied cryptically, "Gerald handled the breathing part, some kind of bubble system or pressure adaptation. I didn't ask too many questions. You don't question Gerald. He's got that authoritative vibe." But it gets crazier. Deputies noted that the sand sketches were remarkably detailed, spanning roughly 10 feet across, including scaled blueprints for what resembled a submerged community, multi-level condo structures made from natural coral and synthetic-like materials, a central town square with gathering pods, and even a recreation center. The guy's diagrams had zoning regulations penciled in, setbacks, load-bearing specs, even environmental impact notes. He was then released Sunday evening after Dolphins deemed his contributions satisfactory, with Gerald allegedly signaling that they might return for phase 2. He then swam back to shore, disoriented from exhaustion, and hitchhiked partway to the causeway before collapsing. So they send this guy to Lee Memorial Hospital for evaluation, where he was treated for dehydration and sunburn, but there was no DRUGs or alcohol in his system. He was also cleared with a clean bill of health, reporting no signs of delirium, psychosis, or head trauma that could explain these hallucinations. Or were they? Now, however, a routine chest x-ray and a fluid analysis revealed trace amounts of Gulf seawater in his lungs, specifically saline levels matching samples from 30 to 50 feet offshore, with microscopic marine particles like diatoms and plankton residue. Dude was working underwater. Now, the crazy thing is, Ricky did this for a living. He specialized in underwater construction and bio-inspired engineering. It's like Gerald knew. Now, the police can't explain this. There's just too many details. But this has got to be one of the coolest stories I've ever heard in my life. Dolphins are the and they chose Ricky to come build with them. Wild.
I came across this morning and I just had to share it with you guys. This is one of the most insane stories, probably the most insane story that I've heard in the 2.5 years of making these videos. And I don't really have an opinion on it. I think it's complete nonsense. They do have laws apparently against us speaking to dolphins. Maybe this is a good clue as to why, but I just thought this was absolutely hilarious. One bad thing about it is, I think when this story gets out, if this guy actually does specialize in the creation of these underwater structures for a living, he probably just destroyed his career, because any underwater structure that's going to have to support life, no one's going to trust this guy to design it. Everyone's going to assume that he's nuts. And you don't want a crazy person designing your underwater structure that has to house human life. But you guys let me know what your thoughts and theories on this story are. I just thought it was too good to not share. But guys and gals, I'm going to go ahead and end the video right there. I hope you enjoyed these clips we watched together today. God willing, I'll be back on Monday with another one. I hope you come back to join me. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget to share the video with your friends, and don't forget to drop your theories and your comments in the comment section down below. But guys and gals, I hope everyone has a great, safe, fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you all in the next one.